Well, what's happening, YouTube Nation? Welcome in, boys, girls, men, women, children of all ages who might still be watching this game. I don't know why that would be. I don't understand why anybody's still watching this game. It is a absolute bloodbath, a massacre, if you will. Who really saw this going any other way, though, realistically tonight? I know I sure didn't. I had this one all the way pegged from the word go. A Thunder obliteration tonight. Basically a Thunder cakewalk in this series. 4-1, really untested the entire playoffs other than the Denver Nuggets and their pathetic roster that they ran out. Really just a magic trick by Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. But this game, we'll be unpacking it as we go here throughout the Skap live session, Skap After Dark. Guys, welcome into the lounge here. And yes, we're just going to be unpacking this Western Conference Finals Game 5, an absolute beatdown. We have only 3 minutes remaining now in the fourth. It is 117-81. This series was over from the get-go here, especially tonight. In the first quarter, it was 26-9 in the first quarter. And then by halftime, I believe it was a 33-point game at halftime. This game, never competitive at all, never in doubt. It is near 40 right now. The Thunder just continue to roll, this historically great team that I've been talking about all season long. I started talking about these guys back in September, a team that was the best team in the NBA last year other than the Boston Celtics. Realistically, they were number 2 in total net differential. They were number 2 in SRS last year, and that was a team full of nothing but 25-year-olds. Obviously, not prepared for the stage in the playoffs. They lost in 6 in the semis last year, but, they got that maturation process. They got, a little bit of a playoff run under their belt to get some playoff experience, all come back, obviously, a year older and wiser this year. In the offseason, they had 2 massive free agent acquisitions, being Isaiah Hartenstein and Alex Caruso. Caruso, who is the oldest person on this roster at 31, the only guy over 26 in their core principal 10-man rotation. But he, provides championship experience for them. And Isaiah Hartenstein really filled out, gave them more front court depth and bulk in there that really they don't drop off much defensively when they exchange him in for Chet Holmgren. It was not a difficult proposition to see, coming into the season, that the Thunder were going to take a massive step up, which is why they've been my NBA championship pick all season long, beginning in September. The rest of the team never had any kind of a chance. I don't think this team is way too good. And look, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, kudos to him. Another good game for him. 34 points on 14 of 25 shooting. He was the league MVP this year. But this game, this series, this season, this playoff run, this dynasty, to me, isn't about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's very rare to say that a great player, and Shai is great. He's a top 3 to 4 player in the world right now. But it's odd to say that the singularly defining great player on a dynastic team isn't the main reason why they're dynastic. But he isn't. Like when you see a game like this, and there are far too many of these games to be considered an outlier throughout just this playoff run. They are massacring teams throughout this postseason run. They won by 51 in the first round. They won by like 35 against Denver in one game, like 33 against Denver in another game. They beat the Timberwolves by 24-1. They're up by 40 nearly right now. They absolutely massacre teams, and it ain't the main takeaway when you're watching. It sure ain't, oh, that SGA is unstoppable, or oh boy, SGA is a real floor riser, or oh, this is just all about SGA and his leadership. No, that has nothing to do with my takeaways when I watch them absolutely massacring teams. It is the rest of it. It is all of this whole stacked, loaded defensively with just frightening defensive cogs. That's what makes this team truly special. That's what brings them. I mean, yes, okay, whatever. Like in the one game that's a close game in a series that could go either way, that the Thunder end up winning, SGA is big in that game, and he's the closer in that game. And then the other 3 games, they're not even breaking sweats because they're so thoroughly dominant. The team, like, I have never seen a team in my lifetime. I was in my early life when the Bulls, I say I don't want to age myself, blah, blah, blah. I'm around 40. Let's just leave it at that. So I was, 11, 10, whatever years old when the Bulls and the Jordan team were running through people. Like, so I barely remember seeing those teams live like this. So essentially I grew up like in the Kobe Bryant era. So essentially the last 25 to 30 years of NBA basketball. That's what I've been watching. And I have never in that time ever seen a team like this that can throw 7 guys, 8 maybe guys that are absolute hellacious defenders, like league best defenders. Like they have probably 5 top 8 defenders league wide on one team. And then 2 or 3 other guys that round out the top 20. They don't lose anything at any position. Then they go to the bench and don't lose anything defensively. Their everything is better than your everything. Their best player is better than your best player, other than definitely Nikola Jokic and maybe a few other players. Maybe Giannis Antetokounmpo. But then Shea's second and third best player are better than anybody else's second and third best player. Then Shea's bench is better than anybody else's bench. Then their coach is pretty much better than anybody else's coach. Mark Daigneault, the young 40-year-old, whatever he is, boy genius, coach of the year from last season. They are better at everything than everybody else. Shea, just a mere component of this overall machine that I have been talking about for 8 months now. Not a surprise to me. A surprise to, I don't know, many others out there in the YouTube sphere, I guess. I see or hear about Gil's Arena and their perpetual season-long doubt in this team. I've seen people on ESPN counting them out, saying that, oh, they're still too young. Oh, they're not battle-tested. They're not proven to play. Nonsense. This team is too big to fail. I've been saying it all year. The margin is too big from the rest of the entire NBA. The bar is so easy for them to clear because of the differential. The only team, the one and only team that had the talent requisite that could potentially match them were the Boston Celtics. But the Boston Celtics, in my opinion, as I've been saying since September, while they have the household names, if you stack it up like 1 through 7, from the Thunder to the Celtics, the Thunder are better 1 through 7. I've been saying it all year long, and I've been saying it would be exposed in the playoffs, and the Celtics don't even make it into the Eastern Conference Finals. Meanwhile, the Thunder are now matriculating towards the first of what will be several NBA championships in my estimation. They will be favored by, roughly 9 to 12 points in every single game that is played in the next round against whoever comes out of that Eastern Conference series. We would imagine that would be Indiana since they're up 3-1. In fact, I think Indiana's probably going to close that game out tomorrow. And then we'll have about a week off to marinate on this matchup. But I do not think Indiana, look, I said, but when the playoffs began, they should sweep every round except for the NBA finals, which I thought would be against Boston, but I did not see Boston choking in the second round. When I saw the map, if you will, the brackets line up and the way that the teams fell, I thought they'd sweep Memphis. I thought they would then beat the Nuggets in 5 because I respected Jokic enough to give him 1 game somehow. And then whoever they got in the West Finals, I really thought that would be the winner of Minnesota and LA. I thought they would beat them in 5 as well. And then then beat Boston in 6. When Boston went out, I just imagined it would be a sweep against whoever they get out of the East. And I've seen nothing to make me change my mind on that. So when the smoke clears and the dust settles, they will somehow have been taken 7 by Denver. It was nearly a cataclysmic choke job for Oklahoma City for if they would have lost that series. To even get pushed to 7 in that series is still disgraceful, in my opinion. But they've taken care of their business otherwise. They've lost only 1 game outside of that series, and I don't see them really losing any more games the rest of the way, barring some like crazy unforeseen injury. The game is now officially final. It is a 30-point, just a cruising 30-point win. Nothing too crazy. They were up at one point by 40 in this game. And then, Minnesota kind of the fourth quarter was just kind of a cakewalk for both teams with the reserves in, other than Shea and some garbage time to start the game, plumping up that point total for him tonight. He played about 4 minutes into the fourth quarter for God knows what reason that was. But yeah, Shea with 34 tonight, like I said, on 14 of 25. Chet Holmgren, 22 points on 8 of 13. Jalen Williams, 19 points on 7 of 14. And on and on. Isaiah Joe with 11 off of the bench. Lou Dort with 12. It really doesn't matter, honestly. Quite frankly, the offense of this team does not matter. The defense is just historically all-time great. Look, like I said, I'm not necessarily old enough to really remember the intricacies or the nuances of that Chicago Bulls team that was running, just running an absolute stranglehold on the NBA for, essentially 6 out of 8 years, doing it with, historical defensive components. But I was just still a kid but growing up since, there are a couple teams that come to mind throughout my lifetime. Some of the great defenses, I think, in NBA history, like the Pistons, like the 2004 Pistons, quite frankly, still might actually be a little bit better than what this Thunder team has showed us this year. Sorry, my phone is malfunctioning here. And then you've got, the Celtics and that 07-08 year Celtics. Really, that is it for me. Like, for my money, those are the only 2 names. Those are the only 2 teams that come to mind that I've seen really since like 99. So basically the last 26 years, this century, the best 3 defenses I've seen in my life: the 2004 Pistons, the 2008, whichever year, 07-08, that the Celtics beat the Lakers in the finals, and then this Oklahoma City Thunder. And while those, maybe the 2004 Pistons, maybe what they did in terms of points allowed, I think might have been more impressive than what this Thunder team did. If you look at the offensive context of the NBA, the spacing, the pacing, the scoring overall, see what this team did in the context relative to league averages offensively. I'm not so sure this isn't the best defense of this entire century. They certainly have the best components in my estimation. That Pistons team was anchored by Ben Wallace, who is a historically all-time great defender. And then Tayshaun Prince was a very elite defender too. And then all the other guys were primarily just good defenders in my estimation. This Thunder team has elite defenders, elite. Like, they have arguably the 3 best perimeter defenders in the entire NBA in Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, and Jalen Williams. And then in my estimation, look, Chet Holmgren, I think, is going to be a perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate moving forward. And Hartenstein is a top 3 net rated defender in the league this year. So, the fact that they have this many top tier defenders, and you can see it against the Timberwolves, scored 9 points in the first quarter. They held the Nuggets to one game to like 8 points in the first quarter. Like, this is routine stuff that they do. And there's outlier games, sure. Like, they fall asleep at the wheel sometimes. They gave up, 120, 1 or 2 games to Denver. They got blown out in game 3 to Minnesota, and Minnesota put up 126 then, following that one up in game 4. But when this team really digs in, really dials it up, and really stays engaged and involved defensively for 48 or however long it takes for them to end the game, you have no shot. No shot. Like, look at how good the Minnesota Timberwolves are as a team. Look at how loaded that roster is, relatively speaking. They had no chance in this game. No chance in this series, realistically speaking. Another quiet night, by the way, for Anthony Edwards. He led his team in reverse in the plus-minus category. He was minus 29. That's a team worst for Minnesota. He had 19 points on 18 attempts. Julius Randle had a misleading stat line tonight. He ends up with 24 points on 8 of 14, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Looked better than it actually was for him. He was absolutely abysmal in the first half, as was Edwards. They both stunk in the first half, and the first half is when this game was decided because it was, I think, again, like I said, a 33-point margin of differential at halftime. So this game series was over by halftime, and at that point, Randle was lousy along with Edwards. So the 24 points for Randle is a bit of a mirage. Don't be fooled by that. But look, again, I'm not going to sit up here and I'm not going to crush and crucify and condemn Anthony Edwards because, again, I just got done saying the Thunder have, and I didn't even mention, I'm not even mentioning Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who also is an elite. He's probably a top, 5 to 7 league-wide perimeter defender, and there's 3 guys just on the perimeter better than him defensively. Like, how are you supposed to get any kind of relief if you're like for Anthony Edwards this round? Like, he just got absolutely shut down in like 3 of the 5 games, absolutely taken out of it. Because this team is just so damn good on the perimeter defensively. And then when you look, Nikola Jokic, 28 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists on 48% shooting. Not necessarily shutting him down, but well below his season average because they're that good on the front line defensively too. Literal no weaknesses defensively. Best of luck. There's no chance to beat this team 4 times out of 7. They're unbeatable. This is what I've been saying for 8 months. Like, is this a surprise to you out there in YouTube land? Should it be a surprise to anybody? Just an absolute thorough dominance from start to finish by this Oklahoma City Thunder team. My quick math isn't good enough. They came into the playoffs. They came into this game in the playoffs sporting a differential of around 10 points per game in the playoffs. They already set the all-time regular season net differential this year. It was like 12.8 points per game they beat teams by on average all year, factoring in their losses. So they were a plus 12.8. That's a half a point better than any team ever in NBA history. Now they're plus 10 right now coming into this game, another 30-point margin. They're probably going to pump up to about plus 11. The all-time playoff record for margin of differential is like plus 12 something. So now the Thunder go into next round against the Indiana Pacers, presumptively looking to belt their asses too. And if they do, they have an outside chance of possessing the all-time record in NBA history for margin of differential in regular and postseason. They realistically, again, I think should have lost maybe 3 games. I said coming into this playoffs, they would lose 3 games total. It looks like it might be 4 because they lost 3 games somehow in 1 round, which is still just absolutely mind-boggling to me. I see Gary's waving. Gary's cat is waving to me. Luna, my assistant, in case you guys are wondering, is already fast asleep behind me. So we're just talking Western Conference Finals, which is now that's past tense. It is over. The Oklahoma City Thunder have been coronated champions of the West. They will now. It is the 28th of May. There's 31 days this month. The NBA Finals begin on June 5th. They will have roughly an entire week off, regardless of what happens in the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 5 there tomorrow night in New York with Indiana leading 3-1. So they await now to see who their opponent will be coming in out of the East. But it is official. The Oklahoma City Thunder will return to the NBA championship round for the first time since 2012. All of a sudden now, all those years ago when they lost to the Miami Heat. Let's not get Gary started on that one. But they Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, guys, those players were like 23 years old the last time this Thunder team was in the NBA Finals, and now they return on the back of a bunch of other young guys that are poised to get it done, to take that step those Thunder teams before them were not capable of doing. And then all of these guys contractually obligated through next year, most of them through the following year as well. This team is young. They're, like I said, tenacious defensively. They're interchangeable. They're 10 deep, 10 truly deep. And they're 7-8 truly deep defensively, like elite upper echelon, like top 15 to 20 league wide elite defenders. They've got the league MVP this year. They've got the coach of the year last year. Good freaking luck. I've got moderator Gary wants to chime in here. Let me turn it over to him.
I've got a hot take. Breaking news, Skap. Today, or was it yesterday? Yesterday, actually, I think. Nick Wright. Oh, my goodness. This guy is so ahead of the game. Guess what he said? He said that he thinks the OKC Thunder are going to be a dynasty. Where have I heard that from? Wow.
I've been saying it, like I said, for 8 months. Nick Wright, while I've been saying for 8 months that the Thunder were going to be a dynasty, Nick Wright's been picking the Lakers to win the championship as recently as like a month ago. So think about that. That's why Skap, that's why #Skap greater than Nick Wright. That's why I need to undress Nick Wright. That would be figuratively speaking, of course, in some kind of a head-to-head debate. I would love to do it. Because he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. So, yes, the Thunder are frightening. They have been frightening all year. It wasn't hard to see coming at all. I've been proclaiming them champions for several months now, and I've been proclaiming them a dynasty in the makings. They will be just that. This team is going to be dynastic. This is the first of many to come. For the Minnesota Timberwolves now, again, they lose by 30 in the elimination game, a game that was never that close, quite frankly. It was 26-9 at the end of the first. It was 30-something, 33 or 35 at halftime. And then, whatever. The Thunder just toyed around with them in the second half. It never really it at one point got below. I think it was at like 24 at one point. Then it went back up to 32. Then it got to 40 again. So the Timberwolves get worked, eviscerated, blown out in 3 of the 5 games. They lost by 24 in game 1, 15 in game 2, 30 tonight. And then they actually blew the Thunder out again in a game that I said was disgusting for the Thunder because this team is too damn talented. It's too damn good to lose by whatever. They were down by 40 at one point, I think, in that game. Pitiful performance by the Oklahoma City Thunder. They come back, though, after that in the one really only close competitive game for both teams was game 4, in which the Thunder just were too much down the stretch. They took the 3-1 lead there, and then I just knew that this was coming tonight. This was not hard to see. So an easy 4-1 gentleman sweeping for the Thunder, broom jobbing the Minnesota Timberwolves. So to talk about them real quickly, this is their second straight year in the Western Conference Finals, and it is their second straight year losing in 5 games in the Western Conference Finals. So, but the thing is, their team is loaded. So I don't really know. There's really no room for improvement in my estimation. They have some young players, though, on that team that might maybe be taking the next step, so to speak, for them. And maybe that's the way of improvement for them. But quite frankly, like their team, like I don't know what else you need if you're Minnesota. Basically, you just need, unfortunately, like I said for Nikola Jokic, like he has to play 4 God tier games out of 7 for them to even have a hope and a prayer to win a series against this team. And that's what the same deal was there for Anthony Edwards. He needed to have 4 God tier games for them to have any chance. He had the one, and that was it. And that's the one game they won. So, basically the only hope is like Anthony Edwards, who has better supporting cast, much more so in my estimation than Nikola Jokic. Anthony Edwards has to just be better, way better, much better in 4 of the 7 games, ultimately, if they want any chance of beating this team. And look, it's just such a tough ask. It's such a tough lift for any player, Anthony Edwards, Nikola Jokic, anybody, any player, no matter how great they are. Like, you're going to have to play elite top-tier defense against this team while never turning the ball over, while slowing the game down and playing in against a dug-in defense, which has, like I said, 7-ish top 20 defenders, and play that mode with a shortened rotation, elevated minutes, and keep your focus, keep your freshness, be able to close in 4 times out of 7, while these guys, the Thunder, throw 10 at you every game, and they're always going to be more fresh as each game goes on, as the series gets longer and longer. It's almost an impossible ask, which is why I've been saying all year they're unbeatable. And like nobody wants to hear it on my channel. It's unfortunate. Like the way the playoffs have gone the last 2 years have not been good for me, so to speak, individually, my brand, my channel. Like none of you guys, I get it. Nobody on my channel, no one that follows me wants to hear me talk up the Oklahoma City Thunder or wants to hear me praise the Thunder. But like, what choice do I have? Like I've been calling it all year, and it's just coming to fruition now. So it is what it is. We are in the era of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the only thing I see derailing 3 to 4 rings in the next 5 or 6 years is going to be some league altering super trade. Because it ain't going to be via free agency. Look, we've seen in the past massive shakeups. The free agency period is always around July 4th, right? Like there's a moratorium on declaring the trades official, but the news starts leaking out like July 1, 2, 3. Then after the holiday or whatever, there's a certain date that's like the 5th or something, the 6th. When the moratorium ends, then the trades start becoming official. But we've heard about massive league-altering blockbuster trades in the past, like super team trade-ups coming, like the Kevin Love being traded to Cleveland when LeBron and Kyrie joined up, like LeBron teaming up with Dwayne Wade and bringing on Chris Bosh, like Kevin Durant going and joining the Golden State Warriors. All of those moves happened like right around the July 4th holiday. That ain't going to happen this year. There are 2 All-NBA caliber players from this season, 2 players that made an All-NBA team, either 1 through 3 designation, that are free agents this year, and they're not really free agents. It's James Harden and LeBron James. Both of them have player options. Both of them are largely anticipated to execute that player option. So neither of those guys are moving. There aren't really move the needle free agents this year. It ain't going to happen. So don't be looking like for some crazy 4th of July, events to occur with free agency. It's going to be trades. And when are the trades probably all going to happen? During the draft week. So the NBA draft this year is on June 25th. So mark your calendars, click subscribe right now here. Turn on the notifications because it's going to be a crazy, hectic week in that week of the draft on the 25th. That is the week that there could potentially be a league-altering kind of a massive, monumental super trade. And of course, I'm talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, but there's more than Giannis. I think Giannis will be the first domino to fall because Giannis is the white whale, so to speak, that's on the market that everybody wants. But the plan B, the option 2, is going to be Kevin Durant because he's going to be on the move too. So look out for Giannis. Look out for where he may or may not go. There's still speculation widespread that Giannis might still be on the Bucks as of the beginning of next year. But Kevin, keep an eye on Giannis and Durant during the week, during the lead up to the draft. And that, if pending something crazy there with one of those 2, going to some establishment of 2 superstars or some very solid overall team, I think there's nothing I can foresee that are going to stop the Thunder from easily defending this championship next year. Easily. And guys, look, welcome in. Sorry, I said a lot. It is a little earlier tonight to start the lounge here at Skap Live After Dark because the game, quite frankly, was heinous basically the whole way. So I kind of slid on here a little bit earlier before the game ended. So hopefully I'll go ahead and slide on out a little bit earlier too. And I will be doing a video on the Thunder advancing to the NBA Finals. I'll be working on that after I get out of the lounge. But of course, I'm here to talk with all of you guys first. We are 30 minutes now in to the Skap Live After Dark Lounge. And of course, you've heard him speaking a couple times already. We are joined, of course, I am Skap, and we are joined as always by moderator Gary, and all of you, about 500 of you actually, here in the lounge with me tonight. So welcome to Gary. Welcome to his cat that he was waving to me with. We've got Luna, my assistant, behind me, and 500 of you guys as we trickle officially over the 30-minute mark here of the lounge. Let us get started with some super chats because, as always, I am behind a bit on those. I think we have 12 here, and Gary is actually indicating he has something first before we do that. So what's up, Gary?
Well, I want to ask you something right before we get into the super chats. Let's give a quick prediction for tomorrow night's game. I've got the Knicks. Do you know why, Skap? Because when has anything gone according to plan in this series? Every time you think one thing, it seems to always go the opposite direction. So that's why I'm taking the Knicks to get a scrappy win tomorrow night to extend the series.
So,
what are you looking for, the line?
No, I'm looking to see if there's any official news on Karl Anthony Towns' knee. Because if you recall last night, if you guys were with us here in the lounge last night, essentially I said at the end to sign off, and I had been saying it all throughout the course of that, Skap After Dark session when we were unpacking that game, when the Pacers went up and took their 3-1 lead. I said essentially with the series shifting back to New York, that game is entirely going to hinge on the knee, the health, the availability of Karl Anthony Towns, because what we saw in the waning moments of that game, I think around the 3-minute mark, we saw, I think OG Anunoby, or I think someone was pushed into, I forget which player, but was pushed into Cat. His knee actually went sideways, it buckled inwards from the out. He got hit inwards on the corner, the side of his knee, and it went, inwards and kind of displaced. And it looked terrible to me. It looked like, an MCL sprain, probably, maybe a PCL. Again, full disclosure, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV or YouTube or anywhere in between. But I've been watching sports for 30 years closely, and I've seen a lot of knee injuries. And that one smells like at least a 1 to 3 week injury, maybe as much as a 3 to 5 week injury. Either way, more than the 1 day that he has off. So I said, basically, look, he's going to play. They're facing elimination. It's do or die. All hands on deck. They'll probably shoot it up, wrap it up, whatever. He's going to get on the court. He's going to give it a go. And I imagine he's going to look a lot like Aaron Gordon looked like in Game 7 of the Thunder series for the Denver Nuggets, playing on a 3 to 5 week injury in 1 day. That's what Cat's going to be faced with tomorrow. And look, I have not seen any updates. All I saw earlier was he will be reevaluated before tip-off of tomorrow night's game. So they're playing it close to the vest. They have not disclosed exactly what the diagnosis is. I know that there's imaging that's already been done. So I was just seeing if maybe they were going to let that leak out. I did not see anything in my cursory internet search. If I'm wrong about that and someone knows something that I don't, go ahead and drop it in the live chat, and I'll keep an eye out for that. But I said last night, it's totally on his knee. If he is relatively unimpacted by that knee, then I like the Knicks to stave off elimination in the Garden and take it back to Indiana for a Game 6. And then if he's either not going to play, which would shock me, basically, unless that's like a full tear, unless that's like a grade 1, which is a full, complete surgical repair needed. Like if it's a grade 3 or 2 of any ligament displacement, I expect him to at least try. But if he looks terrible, if he's laboring up and down the floor, if he can barely move, then it's over. Like the Pacers are ending it in 5, Gary. So my prediction for it is, I don't know, because it depends on really the availability of Cat. And it looks like we're not even really going to know what the injury is until tip-off. And then if he's even going to play is uncertain. Again, I'll be shocked if he doesn't play unless it is like a full tear and he needs like 6 months recovery and surgery. And if that were the case, Gary, we would probably know that already. Like if he had a grade 1, it would be like, okay, he's done for the 6 months. He needs a surgery. It's probably a 2-3, either a grade 2 or 3 sprain. And the difference between a grade 2 and a grade 3 is 1 to 3 weeks versus 3 to 5 weeks. Either way, like I said, more than the 1 day that he's had. Go ahead, Gary.
And regardless of the exact diagnosis, the one thing I think we can all agree on is that he looked tougher than LeBron James.
Well, sure.
Handling the injury.
Sure, for sure.
All right, ready to get into some super chats now?
I am. Let's begin with a regular in the lounge area. There's a regular sponsor to the lounge, Lightspeed. Welcome in, Lightspeed. Many thanks to you for your returning and recurring sponsorship and support of us. Gary, what does Lightspeed have? What question or comment tonight?
Playoffs have exposed teams and players that live and die by the three. You might snag a win here and there, but it's unsustainable over a 7-game series. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, and like the Thunder, I mean, they shoot a lot of threes, but they're not particularly a great three-point shooting team. And again, to me, the Thunder thrive and live in the transition, live on the advantages that their defense creates, either from other teams' turnovers or other teams' terrible shots that leak out to long rebounds and ignite their break. So that to me is more the tale of what the Thunder are. And the only team that has pushed them at all, the Denver Nuggets, are like one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the NBA by volume. They don't shoot a lot, they don't make a lot, and yet they were the one team that has made the Thunder even break just a mere hint of a sweat. So yeah, couldn't agree more. I think that there was a little time where the 3-point this barrage of 3-pointers could get you a championship, but that time was brief and limited, and looks like short-lived, because we're back to basically like you need an elite superstar, which is basically you've needed that for all of NBA history, and then you need a wicked, nasty defense, and that's basically what it's been too for most of NBA history. Like the basically not the best player would necessarily win every year, but the best player with the best defense essentially would win, at least primarily for my lifetime. Not in the 80s necessarily, but basically like from the 90s till now, which is like, 40 years, 35 years. Like, look around the league, who has like the best top 5 player, like which top 5 player has the best defense? Like that team's going to win. Like even when the Golden State Warriors were dynastically holding the league and won whatever, 4 and 6 years or 4 and 7 years, they won their first one in 2014, 2015, and their last one, I think, in 2021, 2022. So like whatever, do the math, 6, 7 years, 4, like everyone thinks, oh, Splash Brothers, Steph Curry, 3-point. They were the number 1 rated defense, I believe, in 3 of the 4 times that they won the championship. And then they were like the 3rd rated defense or something in their 4th year. So like they just had the best defense, and Steph Curry. So like Steph Curry, who was like the 3rd, 2nd, 4th best player in the NBA at that time, but he had the best defense. So like by and large, just find me like which top 5 guy has the best defense, and that team's probably going to win the most championships. And it looks like we're back to that kind of a dynamic, that kind of a criteria, and that is by a large margin, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. When you look at Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Luka Doncic, if we say that those are the 4 best players in the world, like Shai by far has the best defense of those 4 guys. So that's a good take, Lightspeed. And quite frankly, I'm glad to see it, because I hate that 3-point shooting garbage. So I'm glad to see that we've already receded back to the norm, and we're back to what I've been used to my whole life. Next, we've got Rudy Perez back in, again, another regular that's been in the lounge with us before. Rudy, welcome back into you. Thanks for being here. And what is I just saw a word in all caps, Gary. Go ahead and just read Rudy's comment and censor it as you will.
The Timberwolves are getting slonged.
That means they're getting face planted by the Thunder, and I can't disagree with that one, Rudy. Funny word. I like that you turned schlong into like a verb. So that's just funny to me. That's amusing to me with my sophomoric and amateurish sense of humor that I have. Tony DeVera is in. Tony, many thanks to you. And what is the question or comment here?
Is Sam Presti an all-time great GM?
No question. No doubt about it. I think one of the great all-time GMs, if you ask me. I mean, there's a couple that come to mind recently, like Ujiri. What is the guy that built the Raptors in the 2019 that took a gamble on I can't think of his first name, but Ujiri, I believe, is his last name. Brad Stevens. Look, Brad Stevens has done a great job when he moved up from the coaching spot into the front office and helmed the Celtics. And look, like none of these guys, Sam Presti, Stevens, Ujiri, like none of them have a ton of championships. In fact, Presti doesn't have any yet. But what they've done, though, look, you can just build the teams if you're the GM. You can't go play the games and win the championships. Like, and the amount of talent that those guys have built, have amassed, is just mind-boggling to me. And then obviously to me, the GOAT maybe is probably Jerry West in my estimation, the greatest GM. And then I don't know, like Pat Riley's been great in Miami, but
R.C. Buford.
What's that?
R.C. Buford.
Yeah, absolutely. The Spurs architect for sure. And Gary, actually, if you don't know, it's okay. But correct me if I'm wrong. Is Presti? Is he a protege of him? Do you know? Did Presti cut his teeth in San Antonio's front office as a young guy?
I believe he is associated. I'll try to see if I can find out a little more information, but I think he very well may be.
Okay. So yeah, I've been saying Presti's the best in the game. He's one of the best ever. The fact that this cat drafted Kevin Durant and James Harden and Russell Westbrook in the span of like 3 years of each other is just nasty. It's just ridiculous. And then for a number of reasons, they didn't get over the hump. There was, as Gary would have you know, obviously some officiating issues with them in the 2012 finals. There was some choking issues in the 2016 playoffs. And then there was injury issues too along the way. Like we didn't even talk about, they got some really untimely and unfortunate injuries as well, where like that derailed them a couple years that I think they were the best team and would have won. So like, unfortunately, they had the best team, I think, for many years in Oklahoma City. Gary has some fact check for us. Go ahead.
He worked with the Spurs from 2000 to 2007. And guess what else? It says that he was instrumental in getting the Spurs to draft Tony Parker.
So there you have it. That's Sam Presti. He learned from the best in San Antonio.
Under Buford, yeah.
He learned from the best in San Antonio, and he went and he's been the best ever since. And what he's done now in building and not only getting this team constructed as it is, but at the ages they all are, at the contract points they're all on, and then to still have this massive haul of first-round picks. Like they have more first-round picks in the next 6 years than any team in the entire NBA. They could control as many as 17 first-round picks over the next 6 years. It's just so scary. Go ahead, Gary.
As a member of the Spurs, Presti was part of the 2003, 2005, and 2007 Spurs championship teams, including 5 division titles.
So there you have it. It's said that Presti doesn't have any championships, maybe not as the head man, but he has 3 on the staff of the San Antonio Spurs. Kind of like Bill Belichick had like 2 as the D coordinator with the Giants. Then he went and got his own with the Patriots. That's kind of like what we're going to see now out of Presti. Like he cut his teeth. He was instrumental on those Spurs dynasties, and now he has amassed this next iteration of the NBA dynasty. So Tony. Yeah, the easy answer. I mean, we probably didn't need to spend that much time on that one. It is an easy answer. The answer is definitely yes. Master PM is back in. A big supporter of me and the lounge. And Master PM, shout out to you for your continued support here. I really, really appreciate you. And I think we're on the same page as what you're about to read. Gary, go ahead and read the comment.
In my heart, I wanted Knicks versus Nuggets final.
100% me too. In fact, and it wasn't even like when we got into the second round and the Knicks started looking good. Like going into the playoffs this year in the postseason, I was rooting for Nuggets, Knicks, or Nuggets, Cavs were the 2 series I really wanted to see. So, and then when the Cavs went out, I jumped on the Knicks fully and I wanted Nuggets, Knicks. So, Master PM, you and I are aligned 100% on this. Many thanks to you, though, for coming in and supporting us here. We've got Tommy Gunn in. Uh, Tommy Gunn is piggybacking our friend. What's his name? The banana handle.
Lester's.
What's that?
Lester's.
Lester, right? Lester's banana. Go ahead and read Tommy Gunn's comment here.
Skap, I want you to eat an unpeeled banana in one bite.
Tommy Gunn, that is definitely not going to happen. I have Gary as well as several others trying to talk me off of the banana, at least a whole banana that Lester is obsessed with. So I certainly will not be eating a whole unpeeled banana in one bite, Tommy Gunn. But thank you for your support and for coming in to the lounge here. I do appreciate you. Next we have Braka, BRKA. I'm not sure exactly, and I think is this a I think this might be a Serbian denomination. I want to say, Gary. Yeah. So if it is, welcome in. Oh yes, I do see Serbia's prominent. So it is Serbian. So welcome in from Serbia, my Serbian brother. I'm counting myself as an unofficial Serbian here. So welcome in my Serbian brother. And there is something at the beginning of this, I'm guessing Serbian that Gary likely will not be able to translate for us. But read the rest of it there for us, Gary.
I'm willing to be your designated driver if you come to Serbia. I didn't know you had so much fans from here.
So yes, and I think it was Marco maybe last night or the night before that suggested that I come to Serbia in the off season and check it out because yes, I am a bit of an unofficial Serbian because I do have a large following. It's actually I just looked this up the other day. My audience of 76,000 subscribers now, 55% only of that is in the US. The rest, the other 45% is global, and it's just split between a smattering of many other countries. But Serbia is now up to 3 on that list. So actually my third biggest population of subscribers are Serbia is from Serbia. And I think it's about 4% of my total amount of subscribers now. So several thousand people, tune in, subscribe, and support me presumptively because of my unyielding and never-ending support of the great Serbian, the by far best player on planet Earth, a fringe top 10 all-time player, Nikola Jokic. So I think Braka, that is where my big support comes from Serbia, and so much so that several people have bestowed upon me honorary Serbian citizenship. So now my last name, the reason why my channel is Skap Attack is because my last name is Skapanak. So I do hail from that. My ancestors, I should say, hail from that corner of the globe, not quite Serbia, but not too far away. So I appreciate you. I'll have to get in touch if I can make this trip happen, and I'll do some live streams from Serbia if I can make that happen. Next in, we've got the Enforcer, a regular. The Enforcer who has been on the Timberwolves, who's been saying that he maybe thinks that the Thunder are a little overrated and that the Wolves were actually better, or at least should be competitive. So I'm sure there's something to that point in this comment, but the Enforcer is a regular here, is always supporting me and supporting the lounge. So thank you very much, Enforcer. Gary, what is the question or comment? Probably an anti-Minnesota one here.
Yes, OKC is stacked, but why do you think the Wolves underachieve so hard? Is it the three-pointer reliance? Perhaps their lack of plays movement? In my estimation, it's both, but likely more. And to add to that, do you think it's a coaching issue at all? I think Chris Finch seems to be a pretty good coach. What do you think about him?
I like Chris Finch a lot. I respect Chris Finch a lot. I don't put this on Chris Finch. I said, I'm not going to be overly critical of Anthony Edwards because, quite frankly, this team it's just the Thunder. There's not much you can do against them. But what you can do if you're Anthony Edwards, I think, and what he doesn't do enough of. And look, this is where I will bring up Nikola Jokic again. Nikola Jokic takes in the amount of coverage like he did against the Thunder in the series he played, and he was getting his guys wide open looks. They just weren't capitalizing on it. I think Anthony Edwards, it's incumbent upon him to make the others around him, to get them the kind of looks that Jokic is getting his guys, because Anthony Edwards, unlike Jokic, does have guys that can make those wide open shots. So I think there's no shame in Anthony Edwards being effectively shut down in 3 of the 5 games offensively, and him not scoring a lot, and his field goal percentage dipping significantly. But the fact that he hasn't been able to be a floor riser as much. Anthony Edwards, I think, is a great individual talent, and he's actually a really good defender too. I like him. I like his game a lot. But when he's taken out of it offensively, he's prone to pouting a bit. He takes off on defense then because the ball's taken out of his hand to some degree, and the impetus to the rim, his level of tenacity in attacking the rim and getting others involved, it just wanes, and it's diminished from time to time when he's getting confused, or whenever the ball is being taken out of his hand, or when it's being dictated by the coaching staff that he's not going to be the linchpin offensively. So I think Anthony Edwards still has a lot of growth to do in the offseason. And I mean, I hate to put it all on Anthony Edwards because, like I said, this Thunder team makes it difficult on any star. Like, they could take any one guy out if they want to. But the Timberwolves have a lot of good supporting pieces, a lot of good complementary players, like some star power as well as some depth. So I think really it's going to be up to Anthony Edwards to solve the riddle moving forward. And look, he is still young. He's 5 years in the league now, but he's still only like 23 or 24. So, let's see what he can do. Let's see what his offseason entails. It's unfortunate for him because he's now living in the Oklahoma City Thunder era. So I feel like it's going to be hard for him moving forward. Go ahead, Gary.
And not to go off on a tangent here, but you know what? If Kobe was still here, I can about guarantee you Anthony would reach out to him. Probably be like, I need some advice. And Kobe could try to help him, because Kobe went through stuff like this with the Spurs.
And the Celtics.
Yeah. So he would be like a perfect mentor for Ant to reach out to. It's just another example of how much his absence is just on so many levels, his absence. I mean, obviously for his family, his daughter, for Gigi playing at UConn and potentially the WNBA, and now not being available for some of these guys to mentor, for him not being able to chime in on the game and try to help move it along, for him to stop, for him to prohibit that stupid in-season banner being hung on the Lakers rafters, which is just an insult. It is so many levels that he's missed.
You know what? I just want to say with Kobe, like it just does really make me think about the Celtics, the dynamic of the Celtics, because I said this Thunder team is the best, one of the 3 best defenses I've ever seen really in my relative lifetime, or my adult life, so to speak, of watching the NBA. I put them up with the 04 Pistons and the 07-08, whatever year that was that they won. I think it was 07-08.
08, yeah.
The year that the Celtics won the championship. And what do those 2 teams have in common? Well, Kobe had to play them both in the finals. And that Celtics, look, the Celtics were much better. They looked much better than the Lakers that year in 07-08. And the Lakers got eviscerated in the game 6 elimination on Boston Garden. The anything is possible game by Kevin Garnett. I mean, that was like a 37 point beating the Celtics delivered the Lakers to eliminate them in 6 and win the championship. And it looked desperate. Like, the Lakers really didn't do much to their roster moving forward. It was just incumbent for Kobe to figure it out. Like, and I think there's a story actually where he essentially called Michael Jordan. So you're suggesting Ant-Man would have called Kobe Bryant if Kobe was still around. Well, Jordan called Michael Jordan and said, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't have the pieces. Like, the team, I'm outmatched. Like, that team's just too good. They're too good defensively. They have too many good pieces. And Jordan said, figure it out. Like, that was the message. And so Kobe did. He won 2 consecutive championships with essentially the same team, and he just figured it out. And the second championship was in avenging that loss to the Celtics. So, like, it is now incumbent on Anthony Edwards to figure it out. I think he, unlike Nikola Jokic, I think he has a team that could compete at least. I'm not saying that the Wolves are better than the Thunder, but he at least has a competitive roster stacked up against the Thunder, whereas Nikola Jokic simply does not. So for Anthony Edwards, he's got to figure it out. And figuring it out means probably making these other guys better. Like for Kobe, figuring it out meant he had to make his other guys better. He had to make them harder, stronger, like more fierce, like him. And that lesson started early on. Like they went to the Olympics. I remember the story. They went to the Olympics. He went to the Olympics like weeks after they lost that series to the Celtics. And then that was the Redeem Team year. So Kobe won the gold medal. And he, of course, went through Pau with that famous, really hard chest foul when they played Spain the first time. And then on day one of the Lakers getting back to training camp then in August, Kobe's locker was next to Gasol's. Kobe hung his gold medal. I don't know if you've heard this story, Gary, but he hung his gold medal on Pau Gasol's locker on day one. When they showed up for Lakers training camp. And when Gasol came and saw the medal hanging there, Kobe said, look, you're a loser. You're runner-up in the NBA Finals last year. You're runner-up in the Olympics. He's like, do you want to keep being a loser? Or are you ready? Are you ready to become a winner? And then if you remember the scowl that Kobe had, like all the way through, remember you had that, they were up, 2-0, 3-1 against Orlando, and he still had the scowl on the court throughout the whole series. And like, even like the media asked him, you famously like, Kobe, like you guys are coasting, like you're rolling. What's good? You going to smile at any point here? And he said, job's not finished. Is it? I don't think so. Job's not finished. Like, so he just kept, because all season long, he was beating the shit out of them in practice. He was mean mugging every chance he got on the court, off the court. Like because he had to harden the team and bring their mentality to his level. And that's how he became a champion. That's how he made them champions. That's how Kobe became a champion again from the first three-peat. And that's how he made these other guys come along for the ride with him. So there wasn't trades or big changes made. It was just Kobe figuring it out. So,
and that infamous scowl on the court was actually against the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. He didn't do that in the Magic. The press conference was against the Magic when they were up 2-0. Anyways, let me go and get on to the next one here because we could talk about Kobe all night. We'll be here till 4 a.m. All right. R. Chesser here. Thank you for the two-piece. Says, what a beatdown tonight. Where was Ant-Man at?
Yeah, Ant-Man was he was out of it. I just want to see exactly. I think I'm just going to go to the fourth quarter line. I think, or the first half line. I think he was 1 of 9 in the first half, but let me just confirm that. He was in the first half. Anthony Edwards he was 3 of 10 for 9 points. 9 was sticking out in my head. He had 9 points on 3 of 10 shooting in the first half. And then, of course, I said Julius Randle, his end game stat line looked good. Julius Randle had 24 points on high efficiency for the game. But when the game was really being decided in the first half, he had only 8 points on 3 of 7. So in the first half, cumulatively, Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards, 6 of 17 for 17 points for them. And they were down by 33 at halftime. The score at the end of the first half was 65 to 32. So where was Anthony Edwards? Well, nowhere to be found. But again, his entire team was nowhere to be found tonight. But, you know, I do see all the time, I particularly get crushed and called out for like Nikola Jokic in these games, game 7s where he got blown out against He didn't get blown out against Timberwolves, but they got blown out in the second half. And then they got blown out this year. Like even Nikola Jokic having poor games, like he had 20 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists on like 55% shooting in this game 7 that they lost to the Thunder this year in his elimination game. And he only played like 30 minutes. And then in the game 7 loss to Minnesota last year, he had like 34, 15, and 8 on like 50% shooting. So, I mean, even in these games where it goes really drastically wrong for Nikola Jokic, he's still there, like still, putting a fight up. This Minnesota team, And by the way, not only putting a fight up, the game last year in game 7 against Minnesota, they were up by like 20 at one point in that game where the Nuggets, and then in the game 7 that they got smacked down in the second half of, it was a 1-point game with 3 minutes to go in the first half. So like they're at least competitive. This game was over in the first quarter. It was 26-9. So there's just levels. There's levels to this, and I've been talking about that. And there is actually Art Chester. Thank you very much for your continued support. And thank you, Karthik Shankar, for your continued support. And I wanted to jump to your comment, Karthik, because he's speaking to the same point that I'm kind of getting into. But Gary, go ahead and read this from Karthik. And again, Karthik, thank you again. And Art Chester, thank both of you and everybody else who keeps coming in here and supporting us in the lounge. But Gary, read Karthik's super chat here.
Nuggets took this OKC to 7 games, playing Porter Jr. with one shoulder, Aaron Gordon with one leg, and Westbrook with one hand.
Great point, because the news is out now that Russell Westbrook is actually getting surgery on his hand now in the offseason. This isn't a LeBron James injury, guys. This is not a fake, unsubstantiated injury here. Russell Westbrook is having surgery, I believe, on his shooting hand for 2 bones that he broke in the hand that need surgical repair, and he broke them in the regular season. So Russell Westbrook, their principal lead bench player, was playing with broken bones in his shooting hand. Michael Porter Jr. with one arm, because he hurt his shoulder in like game 6 of the Clippers series. He averaged like 8 points per game on 30% shooting in the entire 7-game series against the Thunder. And then basically their second best player for the entire playoffs, Aaron Gordon, popped that hamstring in game 6. So, and all of those things. And Gordon, look, he missed 30 games this year because of a myriad of lower body injuries on that same leg. So with that and a subpar lineup otherwise, Nikola Jokic drags this team to 7 games. And he's actually getting criticized for losing that. Like, it's crazy. Like the standards that Nikola Jokic are held to is insane. And I've been talking about that for 2 years. I've been talking about it for 2 years. No all-time great is doing shit with this roster. The fact that Nikola Jokic is somehow getting them out of the first round into a second round against way better teams and somehow taking them. Look, when the Nuggets were getting their asses whooped last year, losing both games at home in Denver against Minnesota, they lost game 2 by like 30 to go down 2-0. There isn't a human being on earth that watching those belt whoopings to the ass, that no one thought that series was going more than 4. Like, they got absolutely obliterated in game 2. Going to Minnesota, Nuggets end up winning 3 straight after that and getting into a 7th game. And then this year, I mean, somehow getting the Thunder to a 7th game it's craziness. And then somehow he still gets criticized. It's absurd. So I'm with you all the way, Karthik. We've got Massive Dumper back in again now. Again, I like that handle. I said it a lot last night. Massive Dumper, welcome back into you. Gary, what does Massive Dumper have for us tonight?
I'm throwing up the alley hoop to you. Damn, that wasn't whooping by the Thunder. My Knicks would never say never, Massive. You don't know what the Knicks may do.
Yeah, look, and it's just going to happen a lot. Like, these things are prone to happen when you play this Oklahoma City Thunder team. It just happens so quickly. Like, it just, life comes at you. What is that? Was it Southwest Airlines? The "want to get away"? Was that the tagline, Gary? Southwest Airlines, that slogan, right? So it's like life comes at you quickly. Those series of things where, like, just catastrophic, drastic things befall the main person of these commercials, and it's like, ding, want to get away because life comes at you quickly. Life comes at you quickly against these Oklahoma City Thunder. You could be in a game, and then there's like a 4-minute span of time where they just blow you to pieces. It's just like a quick, like 17-2 run in like 3-4 minutes, and the game is just, it's over. Like, even if you're doing everything you can And you're right there. It's like a 7-ish point game. Then they hit you with like a 15-0 or 17-0. Like all of a sudden it's like 30 and the game's just over. And it can come at any time with either unit. Typically, though, it is the second unit. Like the first unit is better than the other first units in the league. But then when it goes to the bench, their bench unit is so much better that the avalanche just kicks on. The turnovers start happening, and then they're off to the races, and it's over. I think at halftime of this game, the Minnesota Timberwolves had more turnovers than field goals made. And let me just go ahead and confirm that. In the first half, the Minnesota Timberwolves had 14 turnovers, and they had made 12 two-point shots they had made and 5 three-pointers. So 17 total made shots and 14 turnovers. So slightly more shots made than turnovers. But like the game's over at that point. Like you're down 33 points. So life comes at you quickly. Ding, want to get away? Coincidentally, Minnesota does. They're going to get away to like the Bahamas or Cancun or somewhere tonight. They don't necessarily have to go home, but they sure as hell can't stay in this series. The Oklahoma City Thunder, again, if you are just joining us here, are headed to the NBA Finals, their first one since 2012, on the heels of just another dominant performance. And now we move on again to Art Chesser is back in again with a follow-up to something earlier, I think. What do you got this time, Art Chesser?
Austin Reeves and the Lakers were overrated after all. Your thoughts? These lives in the lounge always deliver. T-Wolves sucked. Thunder in 5.
Yeah, I think, look, the Lakers, I think they were in the games against Minnesota, quite frankly. Like, I think I want to say the Lakers outscored the Timberwolves through 3 quarters in 5 games. So if you combine all the first 3 quarters in all 5 games, so 15 quarters, the Lakers outscored the Timberwolves by like 6 points. But then in the fourth quarters, the 4 fourth quarters, I think the Timberwolves outscored the Lakers by like 45 points. So these games were all very close. The Lakers easily could have won several of these games, if not the series. But they just couldn't close in the fourth quarter. Sound familiar? Like that seems to be emblematic of every LeBron James team. So I think, and had they gotten by Minnesota, I think they then beat Golden State. And then they're in the finals right now. Like they would have been in the Western Conference Finals against this Oklahoma City Thunder team. And for whatever reason, the Lakers actually played the Thunder as hard and better than any team in the NBA. That includes every team, like the Celtics, the Cavs, even the Cavs only played 2, but the Thunder, I think, worked Boston in both games. And in the second game, they blew Boston out. They didn't even have Jalen Williams playing. But let me actually get the Lakers Thunder head-to-heads up here this year. I just want to confirm exactly what we're looking at. The 2 games, the 4 games they play, actually they only played 3 this year. And the Thunder won 101-93 in the first game, which was early on. That was in November. And then late in the year, they played April 6th and April 8th. And the Thunder, they blew the Lakers out and won, and then the Lakers blew them out and won. So 136-120, the Thunder beat the Lakers, and then the Thunder lost to the Lakers 126-99. There was some suspicious. And then last year, if you remember, the Lakers beat them 3 times out of 4 last year. So the Lakers just kind of match up favorably for whatever reason. I think Luka Doncic is actually kind of like a Thunder destroyer. I think Luka Doncic is like the only kryptonite the Thunder truly have. So, had the Lakers got to the Thunder, they might have tested them a little more than the Wolves, but because they choke, they stink, and they can't close in the fourth quarters, again, emblematic of all LeBron James teams, they couldn't even win more than 1 game. So, I still think when the Lakers get into the offseason this year, they're going to do something with the center position. They just got creamed on the glass against Minnesota. That was the big problem. Like, they just couldn't rebound. JJ Redick refused to play any center. He played Rui Hachimura at 5 most of that series, who's like 6'7" or 6'8". So I think whoever the Lakers get in the offseason is going to be an upgrade at the 5 spot. So I do think the Lakers are going to be better next year, but the Thunder still would have beaten them in this Western Conference Finals, probably still in 5. And then, yeah, to end your point, Archester, Thunder in 5. Yeah, I think they beat the Timberwolves in 5. I think they would have beat the Lakers in 5, and I think they're going to beat the Pacers in probably, to me, 4. But we'll see. Maybe the Pacers can steal 1 somehow. We've got Josh Ulstrom in next, who is a regular here. And Gary, what does Josh have for us? Question or comment tonight?
Where do you think KD plays next year?
You know, I honestly don't know. I have very strong opinions on Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I really think there's 2 or 3 teams that make a lot of sense there, and I've talked about that multiple times in the lounge here over the past couple weeks. The KD thing, I honestly don't know, and I think it's going to be somewhat reactionary because I think a team that comes up with a losing offer for Giannis might pivot and go to KD. I know the Nuggets want him. I know the Nuggets, and I think it would be a massive mistake. I've talked about it multiple times as well. I don't like that fit for the Denver Nuggets. They're going to try to put together a package. Their package will stink. There will be several packages that make more sense for the Suns. So I honestly can't really venture a guess on where KD plays. I don't know. Maybe if Houston misses out on Giannis, maybe KD ends up in Houston possibly. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think like what team would make sense. You would need to have a really good defensive unit around him because he's not good defensively. And also you cannot be heavily reliant on him because he's going to miss 20 to 30 games right off the bat. So, he's not going to like take a middling team and put them over the top. Like, he's got to be a piece, like a final piece to the puzzle kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe Houston, depending on what happens with Giannis. Maybe, I don't know. I'm trying to think maybe Eastern Conference because the East is wide open. Maybe, I don't know. See, he wouldn't go to Detroit, even though I think Detroit would be entertaining and interesting if they got him. I don't know. It's a good question, Josh. I'm going to have about a week in between the ends of these series and the start of next. I'm going to do a little like off-season primer and talk about some big storylines that we need to keep an eye on moving forward into the offseason. So I'll obviously be touching on KD, so keep an eye out for that. But thank you, Josh, though, for coming in here and for your continued support. We've got Giuseppe back in here, who, again, is a regular. Thank you, Giuseppe. Welcome back to you. And, Gary, what is the question or comment from Giuseppe tonight?
Any hope for the Heat's future?
I don't think so, Giuseppe, not at least immediate future. And I think there's going to be some kind of upheaval or turnover at the top there. I think, look, I don't know for sure, but I think the end is near for Pat Riley. I think it's going to be time for him to move on to the next phase of his life and probably turn that over to somebody else. So, we'll see. I think they've got a lot of, look, they have a lot of needs. I think Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero are not viable 2 best players on a championship team. Like, to me, those are like a 3 and 4 piece. So like, that was always the problem, I think, with Miami. Like, if Jimmy Butler, I don't even think Jimmy Butler is necessarily a 1. I think Jimmy Butler is like a fringe 1, maybe a 2, which would mean you would either need like a marginally better 1 than him or like a marginally worse 2. And then you would have Adebayo and Hero fill that out. The fact that Adebayo and Hero were your 2 and 3 best players is why they never could get over the hump. And I think now if they're the 1 and 2 best players, that is just, a blueprint for failure and misery. So, go ahead. Gary is asking a question. Go ahead, Gary.
No, go wrap this up. I've got one on your previous one real quick, a quick comment. Go ahead and wrap this up.
Sure. Yeah. So I just think the Miami, and even the one benefit the Heat have, actually 2, they've got 2, where they're at, the fact that many players see Miami as a major destination and a place that they want to go to and play in. And then secondly, the East is wide open. Like, you would think the Cavaliers are going to be very good next year, but Boston, they're basically out. Like, Boston will still be good, but not like viably competitive. And then you've got the Knicks. I think, in the Pacers, of course, but like none of those teams are unbeatable to me. Like those aren't, teams that you fear or don't want to go to Miami and build something there. So, Giuseppe, I've been plugging Giannis and Jokic to team up in Miami. I would like to see Jokic and Giannis take their talents to South Beach and actually deliver on LeBron's promise of not 6, not 7, but obviously we know that's not going to happen. And overall, I'd say it's pretty bleak for your Heat for at least the next 5 to 6 years. But Gary, go ahead if you wanted to add something there.
Just brainstorming on the previous one, where do you think KD plays next year? I've got one trade that makes sense. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the only one that I can think of on the top of my head that may make sense, to the Knicks for Karl Anthony Towns, because the Suns could use a big man, and Durant could bring a lot of excitement to the Garden.
That makes them know better, though. Like if they could do something where they keep Karl Anthony Towns and Brunson and add KD, then you're talking. But then you're gutting your depth. So I don't know. I that doesn't move my needle very much, Gary. I think KD maybe. I don't know. I can't really even think of a team that could get KD that it would put them over the top or make them a championship caliber team. Like I can't even think. People are saying the Nuggets because they obviously suck. Jokic needs help, and people are just fantasizing about an offense that would include Kevin Durant and Nikola Jokic. Which, yeah, sure, whatever. Like that would be if you could exchange Michael Porter Jr. for Kevin Durant. Yeah, obviously it makes their offense better, of course. But I still don't think it's enough for them to be competitive with the Thunder, in my opinion. But
not every transaction that goes through is sensical. So I'm just throwing it out as a possibility.
True.
So yeah, I'm not saying it would make the Knicks an NBA champion. I'm just saying that that's a possibility, and at least Phoenix wouldn't feel totally ripped off, because it seems like in these trades, the guys who trade the All-Stars always seem to get less in return. Even though, anyways, let's go on to the next one. NBA was better in the 80s and 90s. Deep dive on Clutch and LeBary's bronze handlers.
Well, I can't do the deep dive now. It's just over midnight now in the good old East Coast of the US of A where I'm at, and I am definitely on fumes from the last 6-7 weeks. Not a lot of sleep. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting this video done that I'm going to do on the Thunder out sometime before 3 or 4 a.m. And we're trickling towards an hour and a half in the lounge, and I still have a number of these super chats to get to. But I have done a couple videos. There's 2 videos I've done in the past, maybe 3 in my channel of whatever, 470 videos now at this point. So I understand it's a bit of an ask for you to go find those. But I have been planning to redo it and to do an even more extensive dive into it in the off season. So keep your eyes peeled. I will be doing something on Clutch and on also the alleged steroid allegations. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. That will be coming sometime, but I cannot do it right now tonight. Gary, I do want to just jump ahead real quick because I've got my boy Braca or BRKA, however it is, jumping back in. Again, bestowing upon me honorary, Serbian citizenship. So thank you. Yes, I am Slavic. My ancestry is Braca. And then he also, Gary, he gave you one too. Gary, what's your ancestry? What's your background?
I'm German.
Okay. Well, you got a name. You got a Serbian style name as well there. And then I just want to jump from him to Marco real quick because Marco is in and he's piggybacking this. And go ahead and just read Marco. Marco, of course, shout out to him in Serbia. My Serbian brother is in. Again, Marco, go ahead and read what Marco has for us as well, Gary.
Scappage and Gregor, you're 10 times better than ESPN, Nick Wrong, Arenas, and other clowns. Quiz for you, no Google. Who is the first Serbian in NBA Hall of Famer?
The name is, I should know. I should remember this name. It is eluding me. Man, I think he has passed away since as well. Oh my goodness, tip of my tongue. It's gonna be one of those moments where, like, when you see it, you kick yourself. Like I said, I think tragically he has passed away since. But we're gonna have to do a Google search on that. I do. Gary, do you know? I
have no idea.
I think this was kind of around your time, actually. You're a little bit older than me.
You're not talking about Page on the Knicks, are you?
No.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember, in the 90, early 90s, I think that guy passed away.
No, I refuse to believe this. I just do not believe this is the right answer. It's saying so the quick AI answer is Vlade Divac, which I do not believe that he was the first. I just refuse to accept that that's the right answer. So I'm gonna have to dig back in now. My curiosity is piqued. I want to get to the bottom of this. So Vlade is Serbian, but I did not think he was the first one. So we're gonna have to get good question, Marco. You have stumped me, but I will get to the bottom of this answer. But let us get back up here real quick to I jumped over Steph. Steph is in. Go ahead. Thank you, Steph, by the way. Welcome back into you and your ongoing support of us. Gary, what does Steph have for us tonight?
It's ironic that the Thunder were injured in 2015 and the Warriors benefited from that. And this year, it's the exact opposite. Start of a new dynasty.
Yeah, and I don't think had the Warriors not been injured this year, they were. But had they not been injured, I don't think it would have mattered. I think the Thunder would have blown the Warriors out had it even gotten to that, hypothetically speaking. But yes, that year was that first championship they got, 2014-15, was a bit of a lucky run. I talk about it often here, that Golden State run. They ended up, their pathway to the championship that year was they beat the New Orleans Pelicans with just AD and nothing else in the first round. They then beat the Memphis Grizzlies in the second round. Then the Houston Rockets with just little game James Harden, no Chris Paul yet. So, and then they got into the NBA Finals and they played the Cavaliers, who did not have Kyrie Irving or Kevin Love for virtually the entire series. And they were still down 2-1 in that series and needed to go 6. But in the regular season, though, they dodged a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder, because they were hurt that year. The Thunder, I think, likely, could have competed with them. Kevin Durant that year got hurt. He played only 27 games. So they weren't really a factor. And then Gary Spurs that year, I think, also would have beaten them. But something suspicious happened with the Spurs that season. The Clippers beat them in 7. The Clippers beat the Spurs in the first round in 7. And then the Clippers inexplicably choked. I think that was the year the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead and Doc Rivers and his bum ass blew that 3-1 lead.
Chris Paul got hurt. His hamstring or something or other, like right after that 3-1 lead, and they never recovered.
So there you go. That was just a very lucky run. Like all the stars aligned for Golden State. And while, look, Oklahoma City has gotten some lucky breaks throughout the playoffs. Like they got 2 teams that fired their head coach towards the end of the season in Memphis and Denver to start their playoff run. Then they get the 6th seed in Minnesota, who I think is much better than a 6 seed, but still nonetheless, they're a 6 seed that didn't win 50 games. Now they're not going to get Boston or Cleveland as 2 60-win plus teams. They're instead going to get the Pacers, like the 4th or 5th best team in the conference. So I'm not saying that Oklahoma City didn't get the breaks, but the Thunder this year, unlike Golden State, didn't need the breaks. The Thunder would have beaten the best that the NBA had to offer in any which order you wanted to line them up this year. Whereas I think Golden State could have lost to a number of teams that year. But yeah, good point, Archester overall. And many thanks again for coming in here and supporting us. We've got Skap's Extra Strong Cologne with yet another avatar. It's another day in the lounge, and it's another avatar from Skap's Extra Strong Cologne. Gary, what is the new avatar, if you can see it? Because you have a bigger
I have to zoom in.
than
I
me.
got
Can you help
to
us out?
screenshot it and then zoom in to read it closely. Let's go. Okay, I'm zooming in here. And do you smell what the Skap is stenching? Oh, and it's got your face on the rock cutting
So
a
there,
promo.
so there you have it. A little homage to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who's famous. One of his famous taglines is, "Do you smell what The Rock's cooking?" So a shout out to Skap's Extra Strong Cologne for yet another avatar. These are just getting ridiculous. I love it. Thank you very much, Gary. What in addition is the question or comment from Skap's Extra Strong Cologne tonight?
Hey, Skap, whose 2025 season would make the best possible Broadway musical? And what would the name of the play's theme song be?
Oh man, what would the name of the play's theme song be? Man. Well, I would say honestly, speaking of Serbia, and I'm a big Nikola Jokic fan, and the guy, look, I think he got robbed out of the league MVP this year. I think he had a historic season. He's top three in 4 different standard box metrics this year: points, rebounds, assists, and steals league wide average this year. And did not win the MVP. Somehow wins 50 games with the sheer ass that was surrounding him. So I think it would probably be the Broadway musical would be something surrounding Nikola Jokic. Like I don't know, like the cursed one or something like that would be Nikola Jokic, whose entire career has just been going down the pooper due to no control of his own. Of course, just the lack of consistency from his supporting cast, the lack of health from his supporting cast, the putrid front office that he's had to deal with, and the terrible contracts. So, I think I would probably go with the Denver Nuggets, and I would probably be just called Ass. Just simply Ass would be the name of that musical, and the theme song would be, to steal another line from a Serbian, Darko Rajakovic, my main guy. Everyone that knows my content knows I love his famous press conference in which he drops, "It's a complete crap." So I think the song, the titular song of this Broadway musical would be, "It's a complete crap." So great question, Skap's Extra Strong Cologne. Many thanks for yet another great avatar and for your continued sponsorship of us here. We've got Just a Messenger back in again. Another repeat sponsor here in the lounge. Thanks again to you, Just a Messenger. Gary, what is the question or comment here?
Random stat: this Western Conference Finals had 3 blowouts over 25 points. That has now happened 3 times in a conference finals since 1979 through 80.
That is a random stat. I love random stats. I did not know that. So I am thankful for you bringing that to me, drawing my attention to that random statoid or factoid, because I do love those things. I'm always on the lookout, and I usually squirrel those things away for all of time. Like my mind retains the weirdest things. So I'll go ahead and keep that one with me. Close to the vest moving forward. I wouldn't be surprised if there was another one of those series next round, because I see the Indiana Pacers getting absolutely blown to pieces in several games of that one. Next in, we've got our girl Stephanie, who is back yet again, a regular in the lounge. Stephanie, many thanks to you for your for your continued support and sponsorship of us. I really appreciate you being here, and there's 2 in a row from Stephanie. So we will just run back to back comments or questions from her. Gary, what's the first one?
Skap, Ant is evolving. He shook hands this time.
Thank you. I actually X'd out. I watched the last bit of the game. I came on here with like 3 minutes to go in the game, 3-4 minutes to go in the game. I had it on and I was looking at it, but I shut it off as soon as the game went final. So I did not see the handshake lines or whatever. So that's actually good. Thank you for letting me know that, because the last several games that we've seen that haven't gone his way, either in this series or dating back into last NBA playoffs, and just like vanished from the court like 10 seconds before the game went final and just refused to congratulate any of the other players or shake any hands. So that's breaking news from Stephanie. Thank you for that. And that is a sign of maturation from Anthony Edwards. I appreciate him for doing that. And what next does Stephanie have for us?
But he also said it's exciting losing again, LOL.
Well, gee, I'm going to have to look now at this post-game press conference, Stephanie. See, you've piqued my curiosity in multiple things now that I did not see that happened off of the court after the game ended. Ant finally actually shaking hands, breaking news, but however, being excited in the loss, that is kind of weird, especially the fact that they got blown to pieces and mostly, in 3 of the 4 losses, they were just not competitive. The one loss, they lost by 2 in game 4. So that was the most competitive game by far of the series. But again, it was one where the Timberwolves had to have it. It was basically an elimination game. They would have been down 3-1 if they didn't have it. It was at home. You would think that they would play their best game there. But they still lost. Then they lost by 24, 15, and 30 are the other 3 losses. So just absolutely getting worked, obliterated in 3 of the 4 games, and basically just a non-competitive series overall, a gentleman sweeping 4-1. So I don't know what's to be excited about that, Stephanie, but thank you for bringing that to my attention. And I'll have to jump on that and check it out while I'm going to be making my video about the game and just the advancement of these Oklahoma City Thunder. I'll be doing that whenever I get out of this lounge, which could be coming up shortly, guys. I've just been teasing a short early night for me. We're almost at the end of these super chats, and we are about 90 minutes in. So let's go ahead and read this one from Adam Freeman. Adam, thank you for coming in and your continued support as well. It seems like everybody's a regular in the lounge that's throwing the sponsorships around to us. So many thanks to you, Adam. And Gary, what is the question or the comment?
What's your opinion on the 2025 playoffs so far?
Well, I think I've kind of mixed feelings about it, Adam. Good question, by the way. I think, first of all, they've been good without, like, Steph Curry, like, his team made it to the second round, but he really didn't, right? Like, he got out of the first round, but then he played in only 1 game in the second round and got hurt and never returned. So he played 1 series, essentially. LeBron, only 1 series. Kevin Durant didn't even make the playoffs. So you got the 3 principal stars from the 2010 till 2020 era, kind of, that the NBA's still been clinging on to for dear life. Like, they're out of the playoffs early, or not at all in Kevin Durant's case. And yet the playoffs have been good, I think, have been intriguing. There has been storylines, good games, good series. But by and large, I do have to say I am disappointed in some elements of it. Well, first of all, I think the Nuggets were one of the overriding storylines. The Nuggets basically salvaged these playoffs almost single-handedly because the Thunder would have just eviscerated the entire field this year had it not been for Denver, giving them a 7-game series in the middle of it all in the second round. And Denver played a very intriguing first-round series. So Denver had a very intriguing 7-game series in the first round where there were buzzer beaters and stuff in that one. They played then another intriguing series in the second round where they pushed this juggernaut dynastic looking team in Oklahoma City Thunder to a 7th game, doing it all with the historical excellence of a Nikola Jokic there, right square smack dab in the center of it, and igniting the MVP kind of debate, keeping that thing running from the regular season and making that intriguing into the playoffs. So really, I think the Denver Nuggets were like single-handedly making this playoffs as exciting as it possibly can be. But the one thing, so I was basically looking forward to, firstly, could the Nuggets pull a rabbit out of the hat and try to win a championship? I think they ultimately came up 1 game shy, because if they found a way to get a 4th win in that series against the Thunder, I think they would have went all the way and won a championship. But then in lieu of that, in them not being able to do that, the thing I was most looking forward to was how much could Boston then push the Thunder in the championship round. The only team talent for talent that could stack up, the team that was last year's champion looking to stop this year's coronation of the Thunder, that to me would have been a pretty enticing and tasty little final series. And of course, the Celtics pooped all over themselves in the second round, which really shouldn't have surprised any of us. The surprise really is now just in hindsight that they didn't do that last year. But you know, that just went, you know, blew up in the air like a pipe dream in the second round. They went out in quick fashion to the Knicks. They were down 3-1 in that series ultimately before Tatum got hurt. And then the Cavaliers also dealing with all of their injuries and going out early. So I think, look, we have such a beast, such a juggernaut in Oklahoma City that it just would have been fun to see either the Cavs or the Celtics get there and just see if they could do anything. Because now we're faced with the very real prospect of like a super anticlimactic finals where like the Thunder just sweep the Pacers and beat them badly in like every game. So, you know, and that's not going to be fun for pretty much anybody to watch. You know, the fans of Oklahoma City will be enjoying that, of course, but that probably that's the only demographic that's going to like to see that. So I think there was definitely some good elements about these playoffs, Adam, and there's some disappointing or underwhelming elements to them as well. I think ultimately they're on the right track, though. These playoffs were defensive. Let me just get it up here. 2024-2025 NBA season. I think average nightly scoring in the regular season was around 114 per game. I'm guessing it's cut by about 7 to 8 points now in these playoffs. The average scoring here per game in the NBA, 113.8. So 114 just about in the regular season. And let's go ahead and get into the playoffs and see what the scoring is there. I'm guessing around 107. It is 108. So it's, so down, not a huge, but it went from, about 114, actually more like 109 at this point now, but still that's a 5-point reduction, a full 5-point reduction from the regular season to the postseason. So impressive, I think. Some impressive defense has been on display. Not in all instances. I think the Eastern Conference has really puffed up that average with some of those games and some of those series. But the West has definitely displayed defense. The Timberwolves locked down the Lakers a lot in that first round. The Clippers and Nuggets played a slugfest defensively in the first round. Then the Nuggets really upped their defense again into the second round against the Thunder in several of those games. And then, of course, the Thunder have been displaying historic defense throughout the course of these playoffs. So, like less three-point shooting, less games being decided or were being, the outcomes being indicated by whoever the best three-point shooting team was. There were teams shooting 53s and they're all at home now. So it looks like defense, methodical play and stuff is going to rule the day now, moving forward again into the NBA playoffs for several years to come. So I think we're on the right track. I think it's a shame that there weren't more teams that could stand up to Oklahoma City. I think it's a shame that pretty much the worst team in the Western Conference field, you can make a case for, the Denver Nuggets, was the team that pushed them the most. But that just is what it is. Like the Thunder are just going to be that good. There might be some non-compelling playoff runs to come now due to them, thanks to them. But I think dynasties in general are fun and are fodder in and of their own selves. So I think maybe, we'll get some dynastic kind of storylines involving the Thunder now moving forward into the next couple years to come. But guys, just to recap, it is over. The Oklahoma City Thunder are on to the NBA Finals. They're first since the year of 2012 when it was Durant, Harden, and Westbrook, all like 23 years of age or younger. So that's how long ago it's been. All those guys are like in their mid to upper 30s now. It's just a dominant wire-to-wire win at home for Oklahoma City Thunder, who were like 9-point favorites going into this game. They were up 26-9 at the end of the first. They were up 33 at halftime. They coast to a 40-point win or a 30-point win tonight. They were up 40 at one point. And now They have lost 4 games total in the Western Conference playoffs. They now will await for the next roughly week. They will be awaiting the outcome of tomorrow night's game and I guess tomorrow night's series. We'll wait and see what happens tomorrow night. It's the Pacers at New York. New York trying to extend the series. That's a 3-1 Indiana lead. Again, for my money, it's all going to depend on Karl Anthony Towns, his health, his availability, what's going on with that knee. So we'll keep an eye on that. He's going to be reevaluated before tip-off. So it's, the way I read that is it's a true game time decision. I think he probably has a grade 2 or 3 MCL something sprain, maybe PCL, something like that. One of those collateral ligaments. The structurality of it in doubt after getting it caved in the waning moments of game 4. So if he's able to play semi, injury-free or look somewhat unimpacted by that injury, maybe the Knicks can muster enough to get it into a game 6 where I fully expect Indiana to close that thing out in Indiana. If he is severely hampered tomorrow night, well, I like Indiana to close their series out in 5-2. Then we've got about 5 or 6 games for both teams off before the NBA Finals begin on June 5th. But that's where we stand, everybody. We have, we're a little over an hour and 40 here. It is 12:30 a.m. exactly now on the East Coast, early morning now on Thursday. I think I'm going to call it a night here and wrap up. And Gary actually has one more thing. Gary, what is up, moderator Gary?
All right, chat. We're going out early in the lounge, but for your entertainment, if you want to check out this video I made about the mass media manipulation on LeBron James, I'm posting the video in the chat. Just a small sports channel that I recently started. If you guys want to check that out, similar to the videos that Skap makes. I think if you like the videos Skap makes about LeBron, I think you'll probably like this one as well. So just wanted to throw that out there for the chat.
So, yep, go ahead. That is in the chat or the live chat area now. Again, many thanks to all of you guys. We still have about 350 in the chat right now, or I should say in the live stream right now in the After Dark Lounge. So, as always, I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate your ongoing and continued support of me, of the channel, of the lounge. Gary, many thanks again for all of your help tonight as well. And guys, you can look for my video, which I will be putting out hopefully fairly quickly. My goal is to get it out by 1:30 a.m. So I'm going to see if I could set an all-time record for getting one of these reaction videos out. You can keep an eye on that. It will be about the Thunder's advancement, their dominance, their potential place in history now moving forward. So keep an eye out for that later on tonight, maybe hopefully within the hour. And then Gary and I more than likely will be sliding back into the lounge tomorrow night, regardless of how that game goes tomorrow. But again, that's Indiana, New York, game 5 in Madison Square Garden. That game tips at 8 o'clock. So make sure you get on here around maybe 10:30-ish. And see if we light up an After Dark Lounge session. I'm pretty sure we will. But until then, Gary, everyone out there in the chat, have a good night, and we will see you again sometime soon.